Okay, what we're going to do is try to show you how to do a little tracing. This is for my friend. She asked me specifically to show her how to do some tracing, so this is going to be geared towards her, but I'm sure it'll be useful for anybody. Anyways, when you are looking for images to trace, it's really helpful to have the dark black lines. I go to Google Images, and you want to find stuff that's high resolution. So to find stuff that's high resolution, if you hover over it, you can see this little number, 425 by 523. That's your resolution of that image. Now, the legality of using this stuff and selling it, totally different story. This is for personal use only. So, for instance, this one. See how it's got 1152 by 1440? That is very high resolution. That would be a great image to use. However, it is watermarked, so you cannot use it. It's from Etsy. This is for sale. If you want to buy it, I'm sure it's not very expensive. And there's a way to, somebody just showed me today, if you go to your settings and your advanced search and scroll down here to usage rights, you can change this not filtered by license to free to use or share even commercially, and click advanced search, and it will give you anything, any image under what you just typed that is free to use commercially. Now, as you can see, there's nothing image-wise like what you're looking for to use commercially, so you better just go ahead and buy it or make it yourself. So anyways, we're going to go back to all and click images. This is basically everything that's available on the internet. So you kind of want to go around till you find one that's got like the highest resolution. 236 by 269 isn't great. You really want it closer to the thousands by the thousands. That's going to give you your highest res. The reason these are low res is because they're other people's artwork and they don't want people stealing it. So we'll just find something that is, let's see, like, let me go back up to this one. This is the image that we really want. That's the highest resolution one there is. And then it gives you more options over here. So maybe one of these will be better if you click view more images, but we're just going to work with this one. If you click view image, you can kind of see that it's not real clean lines. It's kind of blurry around the edges. You can work with that. I can show you how to clean it up a little bit, but I'm going to right click, save image as. Save it whatever you want. And I save everything to my desktop so I can find it easier. Once it's saved, you just minimize this, and you're going to just drag it into Silhouette. Move your image over here. Make sure it's a size that's easy to work with, you know, whatever size you want. Click on the yellow box up here where it says Trace Window. Now you're going to click Select Trace Area, and what you're doing is showing it what you want it to trace. So when you do that, what you're looking for is everything black to be filled in. The high pass filter is defaulted. Now, I don't really know exactly how this works, kind of learned just by playing with it, and that's really all you can do is just kind of keep going up and down with these different filters, turning them on and off. Like if I uncheck the high pass filter, it fills it in perfectly. You can still see the edges are a little ragged. You can mess with your threshold. See, if you go down in your threshold, it completely goes away. But you want everything black to be colored in. Mess with your scale a little bit. If you go down in your scale, it tends to sharpen the edges a little bit. Like you can see how it's kind of ragged and jagged, and there's a little bit of black showing. I might kind of increase the threshold just a little bit to fill that in. You don't want it to start getting blurry around the edges and you start losing those little bitty details. But that looks okay just for this video purpose. And then you're going to click Trace. Move your original out of the way, and that's your traced image. This is what you're going to be cutting. Now, this little star thing up here, if you'll click on that, it will allow you to drag and zoom into a specific area. If you see anything on here that's really ragged, it's going to cut like that. Like, let me show you this right here. Oh, let's see. It's not so bad up close. You kind of want to like see how that little jagged line right there, it's gonna cut just like that. So if you double click on it, and you can start, just click on the dots that you don't want. I find that deleting points is the best way to straighten something out, and then just click off of it to get it back to normal. Like, this is what I would call cleaning up an image. See how there's all these dots? Each one of those dots could potentially be something that makes it look jagged. So, you know, I would start like here and delete, 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 because you don't need all those points. That's cleaning it up. But you can see that it makes it much straighter. You can bring this down. You can angle it however you want. If it needs to be curved, if it wants to be straight, there's that. You can make it a curve, and it will allow you to curve that edge, which comes in handy. You can make it flat. You can make it a corner, which will give you a 90-degree angle. And if you'll notice, there's a red line. Whichever direction that red line is going, that's the way the dots are going to delete. So I'm going to start here. It's going down, so I'm going to delete, 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 till I get the line cleaned up the way I want it. And you can spend hours cleaning up images. You're going to have a lot of dots around circles because there's a lot of angles in that. But like, see how it's kind of bumped up right here? I may add a dot just by clicking there. Or move this over, just kind of angle it a little bit, make it a curve. You know, just play with it. That's all I ever do. Now that one looks weird. Double click on it, and that will give you those dots. Now, if for some reason you're double clicking and it's not working, or the dots aren't showing up, right click on it and make it a compound path. But that's how you can zoom in and clean it up. So anyways, if you click this button right here, fit to window, it takes you back to your main thing. Move this off your mat so it doesn't cut. And if you click on this and go to your fill button, you can fill it in with color and see exactly what it's going to look like. Now, it will cut that exactly out just like that. If you're happy with it, you don't have to clean it up anymore. You know, I think this would be perfectly fine if you were going to cut it out for a shirt for yourself or something. But like I said, don't steal other people's stuff. But I do recommend that you use black and white. Black and white images are always a good thing to look for in coloring pages. Let's say Mickey coloring page. Any of these would probably work well, and they tend to be higher resolution. See, that's 230 by 230. That's going to be real rough. It's not very big. And if you find one that's more like this one, 786 by 1081, and you click View Image, it's bigger. It's going to have smoother lines. It's going to be much easier to trace. And I'll show you how to clean up a trace like this. So here's the one I just saved. Of course, it's a higher res, so it's sometimes they'll come across huge. They'll be taking up way more than the mat. Just zoom them down. And what you're going to do is click Trace, select Trace Area, and then you're going to trace right over it. And anything that fills in with black, you want all the black to be filled in. So let me uncheck High Pass, and it really filled everything in fine. But I do want to kind of smooth it out, so I'm going to bring that scale down a little bit, see what it does. I'm kind of losing the edge. You know, it's still kind of jagged, so let's bump up the threshold a little bit. If you add too much threshold like that, you start losing stuff at the bottom. You actually start losing some of your black lines. So we don't want to do that. But you want all the black covered. So I'm just going to go to about there. I don't know what happened to his feet, but I'm not going to worry about it. Click trace, move that out of the way. And now you can right click, release compound path, and every little thing is its own dealy bobber. And let's say you don't want to cut out all the confetti, you can just run over it like this and hit delete. Click that, delete, that, delete. You know, make sure you're not highlighting anything important. I'm just clicking the delete button on my keyboard. And as long as all these lines are connected, I'm going to group it back together. It will fill in with color when you try to fill it in. Now, you see how it does that? That means it needs to be made a compound path. Just right click and click make compound path. But that's basically my other video. So let's say you don't want that little spot over his eye to cut out because that's too much weeding. Right click on it, release it again, which it's going to undo the compound path, but just click that little piece. Well, let's see what it's doing. Let's uncolor it so we can see what we're doing. There we go. So now each little piece is its own. What is it? Oh, it's grouped. Nope. Ungroup. Click off it and click back on it. Now you can delete. I don't want that tiny little piece to cut out. It's not going to affect my image, so I'm trying to get rid of the teeny tiny pieces if I can. But anyways, Command A is all, and then Command G on a Mac is group. Highlight it again and color it in. Right click, make your compound path, and that's what's going to cut out. And then once you do that, you can delete the original image. Oh, everything got grouped together. What do you know? I'm good at that. I do that all the time. Oh, because I hit Command A. Alright. So, right click, make path. Okay. Anyways, you get the idea. If you have any more questions,